Robert.
Pumpkin farmers are now shifting from normal pumpkins to giant pumpkin cultivation. The giant pumpkin varieties, some of which can weigh up to 40 kilograms when mature, are fetching close to 3 times more when compared to the normal pumpkins. Dennis Otieno visited a couple in Nyeri County who are currently making the most from the giant pumpkins through value addition.
You know, now if the Group MD CEO, Oshira Waroro, is watching, my job is at risk now.
Yeah, that last piece that I read was actually an audition. So you've got my number, give me a call. I'm free every Wednesday night.
This man had such a dry sense of humor sometimes. You didn't know whether to laugh or cry or what. But man, that every time I see that interview, it's too surreal for me. Yeah, I have to switch it off because it's like he's here.
He's here.
It's like he's right here with us. You were there on that day, Josh.
Absolutely. But you see, what I love about how Bob saw this for a long time, and you know, he reached out to me when he really didn't have to as a young CEO, and I got the same questions. Yeah. But I always say that he had this view that life suddenly comes to a stop. And it's a factual positioning. So in essence, you're going to have to organize yourself and plan because you have no idea when a stop is. And it's a permanent full stop. Yeah. So life matters a great deal. And that's what Bob pushed for. So, and this is the elements around his purpose-driven life. So even in that interview, he was talking about the things that he's likely to do once he moves on. Yeah. You remember? Yeah, yeah. And those are the things that we spoke about when we were here.
By the way, folks, before we continue, I just got a message from Wamboi, Kamiru Collymore, Mrs. Collymore. She says, we're referring to tomorrow's live coverage on Citizen Television, and everyone's invited to All Saints Cathedral? Yeah, All Saints Cathedral, beginning at 10 o'clock. You're all invited, but Wamboi does not want you to dress in black. Wamboi says, wear colorful stuff, because we are not mourning Bob, we're celebrating him. So be colorful. That's the message. Even you, as conservative as you are.
Well, I have a duty tomorrow, so
yes,
I have to look a little smart. But maybe not fully colorful, but some color.
BT.
Colorful tie will do.
Colorful tie will do.
For BT, it doesn't have to do anything. The hair is colorful.
All right, gentlemen. Most memorable moments with Bob. Lamine, you first.
I think for me, it's the conversations. Anytime we go and we have dinner, we talk about everything. And I found Bob to be an intellectual giant. His ability to discuss so many issues. Of course, in 2016, the big topic was the elections in the US, where we had lots of hot debates about what was going to happen, whether Trump was going to win or Clinton was going to win. Yeah. So I think it was those conversations that really stick for me. It's his ability to engage in a conversation and to, you know, to stimulate a discussion. And secondly, for me, I think also I appreciate the fact that, you know, whenever we have a function or an engagement with the bank, Bob typically is not very good at social functions. I mean, going for all these cocktails and things like that. He sort of limits that because obviously he can't do all of them. Yeah. But anytime I reached out, he would actually respond, which I thought, you know, was very touching. Yeah.
Josh.
Well, I mean, he was very energetic. I remember later, you know, this year when he just walked from his house right on the street. And picked me up from home, and we came across walking with the.
You know, I was shocked.
Exactly, we came into.
Were you coming that day?
Just walking.
Yes. You came that day, right?
Correct.
So
I remember.
No, let me set the scene up for you, man.
Correct.
I'm there on the rooftop. Yeah. The rooftop.
Correct.
And I see these two guys ringing my bell. There's no car, so I press the remote, and these two guys walk in. Joshua Igara, Bob Collymore, walking in. No cars, no bodyguards, nobody with them.
I remember that experience. It was a moment that I will always cherish for the rest of my life. And we made it.
Yes.
And we went back.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh. They gave you a lift back.
Yeah, absolutely.
They gave you to have a car.
You didn't have
absolutely. Thank you.
KCB, Group CEO didn't have a car back. Oh. BT, most memorable.
I think we just said his sense of humor. So we were in Cape Town,
attending the World Economic Forum. And so we had gone out for dinner and trying to come back. There's no Uber coming. So I said, so shall I, call the hotel? He said, no, let's walk. Hotel wasn't that far. So I said, yeah, but you say, you sure? We get mugged, stuff like that. Hey, don't worry, it's Cape Town, it's safe. Don't worry, I'm here, I'm with you. So we start walking. And then he says, actually, you know what? You don't have to worry about getting mugged because you're brown, I'm black, I'm dressed like a poor guy. People will probably need to, when they see us, they'll probably be worried that we'll mug them. And we just busted laughing. So I still remember that. So it's just the sense of humor.
The simplicity.
Yeah, the simplicity.
Oh. PK.
First, there's a characteristic that I'll miss before I give you the moment.
Okay.
He would go into our group WhatsApp chat, throw in a spanner, and disappear for the next 48 hours. And we are left arguing amongst ourselves.
Like let it marinate.
Yes.
And he steps out.
He steps out. And he won't get involved.
No.
But when he sees you cross the line, he throws another spanner and then disappears for 24 hours. And he'd do that until when we next met. Then you'd just say, you guys. And he's the one who started it all. I'll tell you my best moment. And I have a very good photograph with him. So he gets invited to Manda Island. And I don't know how he got invited. So he asks me, would you like to go to Lamu? He said, no problem. So he tells me the time. He says, I've been invited by these guys. Let's just go. So we go to Lamu. And
you're not saying how you're going to Lamu?
No, don't worry. He flew me to Lamu. He flew. Bob Collins.
In a helicopter?
Yes, he did.
As a pilot?
As a pilot. He did. Right? And we did that many times. Not once, not twice. We flew with him on the controls. So when we land there, the organizers tell us there's a boat ride around the Manda Island. So we are having fun, having drinks, laughing, there's music, he's standing and shaking.
There's a picture right there. Is that it? Is that the photo?
Yes.
That's you and him on Manda Island?
Yes.
On the boat, rather.
Yes, on the boat.
Yes.
Then the phone rings. And I tell Bob, you have a network here. You know how we used to laugh.
Yeah, it works here.
Then he looks at it and says, shh. And he goes to a corner of the boat. And he's in this very, very tight conversation looking serious. Yeah. I ask him, what's wrong with you? We didn't come here for phone calls. He says, shh. And it went on for about 25 minutes.
What?
Yes. One day.
And was the boat moving?
The boat was moving.
Because, you could lose network.
So one day I'm going to tell President Uhuru, he called Bob in my presence at that boat.
Do it tomorrow at the church. For 25 minutes.
Yeah, they were friends.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, they were friends.
But you see, had he told me it's an important call, I would have just kept quiet and waited. But every time I said, is there a problem? He'd, shh. It's later when he finished. It was the whole boat trip was very memorable. And I think he had a tough week, so he also needed to take it easy. Yeah. We really enjoyed the weekend. It was a fun weekend.
By the way, you guys were not there on Monday. You guys had left already, right?
Yeah.
President Uhuru Kenyatta showed up at the house.
Yeah.
And he spent more than an hour. He was there with one boy. First Lady Margaret was there.
We were not here. I was in DRC. Remember?
Oh, you were on your way back. So you had left. It was you, PQ, and me, right?
Yeah. Yes. He was in New York.
These guys were on
He was in Lagos.
So it's you, PQ, and me.
We just left.
And he showed up. And he hung out for like an hour and a half. And he was comforting and talking. So I sat down and chatted with him. I said, we were here on Saturday. The man was sitting right here. I was talking about that 2 days before.
Yeah.
And he says, I was here a week ago, Jeff. We were in this room here.
Yeah.
And we talked and we talked.
He was there Monday before we got in on Tuesday.
Oh.
But they were close, and I think they had a connection. And I think the connection was the same connection that we talked earlier. Bob could make a connection with somebody of that at that level.
Yeah.
you could make a connection with somebody up here.
Yeah.
And I think that was the key thing, and everybody in the middle. You know, he somehow he got that frequency right, and people trust him, people like him. And I think that's the relationship he has.
And I think it was Josh who was alluding to earlier on. I mean, he was like a big brother to some, or older brother, and a younger brother to others.
Absolutely.
He
I mean,
was
for
a brother.
myself, he's a real older brother. You know,
I think for this group,
correct.
For me, he was a younger brother. For me, he was like a younger brother.
He was still an older brother for you.
We would talk. No, seriously. The things that he would ask, things we would chat about. You know, it's like the younger one asking, you know.
Is that right?
And really, for me, the experience which I'll pick very close is there's a lot of people that were extremely negative for Bob, and they never knew him. And many times we've had many battles with him personally in his life. But it was a very, it will still go back and do the right thing again and again. So he stood the course, and I think the lessons we learn even in corporate today. I mean, I call him a corporate marathoner. You know, we have a lot of marathon runners like Eliud Kipchoge. We have this guy that is running a race at the corporate level and creating many changes. And sometimes you get so much negative aspects coming to you. But if you stay on the course, and you know it's the course you're going for, finally you do get breakthrough. And that was Bob's huge push.
I think that was
every time.
That was, you know, he had issues in between.
Lots.
Corporate governance issues. There were a lot of stuff. And I remember there was a lot of frustration. And there were people reaching out saying, oh, we can do this, and he would nothing doing. Stick with it, and he was so stubborn about it, rightly so, like Josh was mentioning. He would stick to the course, doesn't matter what.
Focus.
I believe in this, it will happen.
So I have many memories, but I'll tell you this one. Monday morning, I'm on my radio show, right? So I do Sunday live, right? So I get home about 11 o'clock midnight. Monday morning, I'm back on radio. So we're doing radio with Professor Hamo. And we have an interview with Fatuma Gedi. She's a women rep from Wajir.
Yes.
Suddenly I get a message from Group MD, Oshira Waroro. And I look at it, and I think, am I reading this right? It says, Bob Collymore has passed away. And I'm doing an interview live, right, on radio. And I said, what the? And Coach, I quickly, you know, I said, Coach, is this real? Is this fake news? He says, confirmed. That was the shock. That hit home.
Monday morning, 6 o'clock.
Monday morning, right.
5:30, 6 o'clock, But
if you remember, but even Coach couldn't believe it.
But if you remember, when we left at 5 on Saturday.
On Saturday evening.
Nobody would have thought that it will happen that
this quickly.
Remember, I told him I was going to Congo the next day, and he asked when I was going to come back.
Yes, we all asked you. You said by midweek.
I said Wednesday.
And you put the call back to me.
And then we spoke.
You called us from New York, and I put you on speakerphone.
We actually spoke to you, all of us.
Correct.
So, because he had told us 2 to 3 weeks, I mean, the shock came in very fast. So, I'm in this hotel in DRC, Kinshasa. I've hardly unpacked because I had arrived Sunday night. And I switch on the phone. Wamboi has called. PQ has called. And you know...
Did you know something was wrong, or
no,
was it just missed calls?
Yes, I just thought he had gotten worse. So I called Wamboi first. She didn't pick. So I called PQ, who was still in the house because he had gone there at 3 in the morning when it had happened. So he passed on the phone, and I said, guys, I don't have to do anything here. I'm just heading back. So I just went to the airport to look for the fastest flight back to Nairobi, right? And then I called Josh in New York, and I said, Josh, I think look for the fastest KQ from New York.
From New York.
He's come back. Then Lamin called me.
Yes, when's the memorial? Or when's the cremation first?
When is the cremation? And the logistics on Monday were difficult for him because the flights had left. So he wasn't going to make it for the cremation. But we must give credit to this young man.
This man.
Because on Saturday, we were given instructions or wishes.
Okay, wait a minute. So we had decided to go see Bob on Friday first, remember?
Correct.
Yes.
Remember, we all, after the Tuesday last supper, if you will, we all said, let's go on Friday. And we were ready for Friday, because Saturday I had plans.
Correct.
So did all of us. So did all of us. So he calls us Friday. He says, guys, I'm a little tired.
He sent a message.
He sent a message.
Yeah.
I'm a little tired. Let's not do it today. And then you guys asked me to ask him, can we go the next day? Remember?
Yes.
Saturday. Which I did.
Yes.
And he says,
then he sent a message.
Yes.
On Saturday after you asked him.
Yes.
And he said, why don't you come for 1 hour at 3?
Yes, exactly.
We ended up being there for 2 hours anyways. And if we had not insisted on leaving, he wasn't going to let go.
No. But
I regret one little thing.
Go on.
That you asked that we take photographs and I said no.
Remember?
Yes.
Did I not ask?
Well.
But guys, did I not ask?
I saw the pictures on Tuesday.
Those were Tuesday pictures. That was me. That was me insisting.
And he looked good, actually.
He looked great.
I was so impressed
Saturday,
with
he was in pain, right?
Yeah.
But we could have had a photo moment.
Yeah.
But when you said no, I said, you know, it's okay.
Yeah.
I said, it's okay. But the instructions he gave this man, I just said, I couldn't believe it. Right?
He was very.
What did he tell you?
No, he was very clear. He looks at me. He says, "PT, I want you to organize my funeral." I'm like, really? I want to be cremated. So, and then I say, okay, there's an option. And then he's saying, no, we don't need to discuss. Then I told him, I said, no,
I remember.
no, because it's it's a critical one. You know, you either do wood or you do furnace.
Or wood, right?
Yeah, it's a very important one.
I didn't want to imagine that something was about to happen.
Yeah,
I didn't want to.
No, I know, but you see,
that was a critical question.
So then the next thing I said, does Wambui know? Because it's, does everybody know? And then I made sure all of you heard it right. This is what he wants. And then he said that, I want you to organize it. I said, don't worry, we'll do it.
He said he had cleared it with the family.
And then this one was saying, no, let's deal with that when it happens.
Yes.
Because none of us would have thought it was 2 days later.
Yes.
I think personally, I think on Saturday, I think he probably gave us a little bit hope. I think he was turning, he was moving his back,
exactly,
and comfortable.
That, yes.
And then he looked like he had lost quite a bit of weight. He looked like he had lost a lot of weight since we had seen him a few days earlier. And I got the feeling that, and remember when we were leaving, there was a slight amount of sadness on his face, and it kind of made me feel, I'm not sure whether we're going to see him again.
He didn't want us to go. But remember, he had said 1 hour. We had done 2 hours.
We did 2 hours.
Yeah.
And by the way, he walked us to the door. Huh?
Yes.
He walked us in the pain in his spine, and you could tell he was in pain. He walked us to the door, and all of us.
And he had told you to shut the door when you arrived because your car made lots of noise on arrival. He was in a good mood.
He was in a great.
He was in a good mood on Saturday too. Yeah.
But that's the grace about him. It's not about him. It's about his friends. It's about family. It's about others.
It's important gathering. Important.
Yeah.
And he said that, right? Friendship is great. I respected it. I respected the friendship we've had.
Yeah.
Remember, he talked a little bit about that on Saturday as well. Just kind of making sure that, there was a relationship there.
And Wambui, credit to her.
You have to give it to her.
Every time we were around, and she knew we were boys, right?
Correct.
We were boys. She, dinner was there, everything was there, and then she'd quickly just step aside and just leave us, right?
But I felt on Tuesday, when, as usual, she joined us at the dinner table, she was very, very quiet.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, she was quiet.
I got a feeling
he was quiet
she was aware he had told us. I got a feeling she was aware he had told us because she was not there when we were told, and therefore didn't know what our reactions would be. But give it to Wambui. She's been there in good times, in bad times. She's been there for Bob.
And what she said at the crematorium yesterday.
Correct.
If I had this to do again,
I'll do it again.
I wouldn't change a thing.
But you remember, I repeated it to Bob on Saturday because I had the conversation with Wambui as a way of encouraging her. And she had said that 5 times in one conversation. So I told Bob, Wambui might not be in this room, but this is what she says. The same words you are saying.
Yeah. If I had it to do again,
she would do it again.
My belief when I listen to Bob over time and again, I think the value you get is that you've run your life, you build on every cornerstone that you have. Yeah. You've been able to get the breakthroughs that you need, and you're at peace with the outcomes. Sometimes that doesn't happen all the time. Yeah. But I think this is one man that lives truly and very honestly to do that which he wanted to do, and gave every single thing he's got, selflessly, intentionally, and very direct. Yeah. That is what gives the peace and gives the value for himself in his life.
Oh, before you say that, so Saturday, right? Remember, we had all changed our plans because, you know, Friday was the day and then we changed our plans. So I was having lunch with my mother and my sister at the club. That's why I had traffic in Westlands. And I was debating with myself, how do I extricate myself from this lunch to go for an hour and then come back? And I said, you know, Mom, I I have to go see Bob. I said, you know, is he okay? And I said, I just have to go see him. I said, go.
I was in Roiro for lunch.
You were far away.
Yeah, and I came back at exactly 3.
You were there.
And then at 5, remember, we drove together. I headed back to Roiro.
Yes, you were going
We
back.
parted in Muthaiga and I went back.
Where were you?
Golf course.
He came late.
But
He came late because he was playing at Windsor. And he told us he was playing golf.
There's a point I was making earlier to what Joshua said. I think also when you kind of reflect back on, and there were other things he told us also on Tuesday, which are not for this session here.
Yeah.
I think the impression, it was very clear that he wanted to get closure to everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everything. And he had kind of, every knot was tied.
Yeah.
Almost to the point where I think on the weekend he must have thought, okay, I've ticked all the boxes, I've done what I had to do, sorted out everything, now I can peacefully, you know, I don't want to go to the hospital, I don't want anything else. Worst case, I'll get morphine. Remember he talked about it? But I don't want any going to the ICU, none of that nonsense. And it prepared for himself. And I think he probably to a point, you know, embraced death, I think.
I think Peter made a very valid point. He says, Bob did not want to come back in a casket. I think that's what you were saying, right?
Absolutely.
You know, like youth treatment somewhere in America.
He loved Kenya, and the point he made is, okay, what is left is experimental medicine.
Yeah.
Supposing I go for it in the US, it doesn't work, then I'm not able to come back. That's why he chose to be with very close, immediate family members and at home. And if you remember, he gave a plan that were he to get worse, the way the palliative care was to be conducted. You know, he had all that.
He planned it all.
Yeah, it was all planned.
And I still got a chance to coordinate a lot. So it's not just about his, you know, the boys only.
Right.
You got to just even to coordinate with the staff at the office, his own ex-coeds, his own partners that he had. He got a chance to engage. So there's a little bit about being directed about the way things are happening, and he was actually making those changes.
And Lamin, let's not forget his relationship with Michael Joseph remains solid to the very
solid. Right
solid.
No, right till the end.
They loved each other almost.
Absolutely.
The support,
that's amazing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, I mean, to take over from a giant like Michael and still be able to, you know, fill his shoes and go on to do other things and still maintain that, you know, strong.
And seek his advice now and then.
Absolutely.
And I think
it's just a sign of a man.
Again, I think that's the same thing. It just shows the kind of a person he was. That
he didn't have that ego.
And Michael, as we saw on Tuesday, was you could see the pain the man was feeling.
He was devastated.
Yeah, you could see the man, but that doesn't come just like that, right?
Yeah.
You know, it was a strong emotional bond.
I don't know if you guys remember one day, I had met Michael at Paddington and I think he was lost in thoughts. So I had said hello to Michael and he had said hello, but he didn't remember the face. So I came and I told Bob in our boys club, you remember? No, I met Michael, but he didn't look okay. So he called Michael the day after, saying, we met with Peter at Paddington. Didn't seem to remember Peter. And Michael said, I think I was lost in thoughts. And from that day, let me tell you, whenever I meet Michael, he says, let me say hello before Bob calls me to say.
By the way, Francis Atwoli,
he
says, jointly, we all must write a book about Bob.
Good point.
Good point.
Very good point, actually.
Or maybe we leave it to Susan Githuka. What do you think?
You can coordinate it.
You know the story about
Bob? Writing books.
Yeah.
Is that he achieved so much. At 61, you'd say is a young age. Correct. He achieved so much
at 61.
in humanity.
For a guy who didn't go to college, by the way.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
No college.
Absolutely.
I think what one can use is that he lived a full and a fulfilling life.
Full and fulfilling. Well put, Lamin. Let's read some tweets. Monica, what do we have? Let's read some tweets. Maflavian, you say, Bob left his mark. We need to strive and leave our legacies, because in this world, people won't remember what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Thank you, Bob, for your service. You will remain a hero.
Good point.
Little things people always remember, right?
Excellent.
Warren Bravian, you say, Bob was a man who taught other leaders how to be humble. May he rest in peace. Absolutely. Woof. Alata F. Owino says, one thing I've learned from Bob is to face the reality directly, as it is with all the courage it requires, as well as to always try and make a positive impact on many people as possible. Having very few close and true friends is another. May Bob rest in peace. That's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very few close friends. Fred Jouseng, you say, amazing how Bob's death has touched many of us that never met him or knew him personally. All that matters in this life is how you live with people and the footprints you leave behind. May he rest well. And that's why I keep saying we were so privileged to call him our friend.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Quach, you say, Jeff, leadership is a matter of having people look at you and gain confidence, seeing how you react. If you're in control, they're in control. Bob made Safaricom to be in control. Fitting into his shoes is gonna be tough. Rest in peace, Captain. By the way, did we call him Captain because he could fly a helicopter? Or?
No, he's captain of the group.
It had nothing to do with any other captains. Not football, not flying.
Gotcha. Daudi Jethro. The qualification to do a job is the passion and energy to serve the people, but if you desire to serve for money, there is every possibility that you won't grow. Bob was a different kind of CEO, and may he rest with the angels above us. He was one. And guys, the newspapers, every one of them, the tributes that were outpouring.
Front page, all three papers, front page.
I've never seen that since, I don't know, maybe 10 years or so. Never seen that.
That tells you the kind of character, the kind of a person.
How much it touched. How much it touched.
Absolutely.
And that's the amazing thing. It's not only the people that knew him personally, but even those who haven't met him felt that, you know, he had an influence on them.
Because he talks about impact. For every single person that touched him or felt him. Impact was his looking for.
How many people can we say that? I mean, how many people? A handful maybe, right?
Very few.
Handful.
I think that's why Atwoli was saying we need to write a book. You know, the values that Bob displayed.
Magnanimous.
Arnold Bunde, you say, the smaller your inner circle, the more valuable and successful you become. Have few friends of value who add value. Value attracts value. Learning a lot from Bob Collimore's life, a life worth living. Okay. We're going to still keep this group, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Well, as you know, we've proposed to meet on the 19th.
What do you mean to meet? To meet and break up the group? Or?
No. We are meeting on the 19th.
Yes.
And we've invited Wamboi.
Yes.
Because we still have what Bob told us that we need to do.
Yes.
And of course, the white-haired man.
Correct.
Will be the next captain.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh! BT? Oh my God.
If he doesn't do the job, if he doesn't fit in, we will paint this hair.
Manucho Sambu, you say, there are CEOs and there are leaders of men. Bob led a team of brilliant visionaries, and that's where his strength lay. Rest easy, Bob. You made a serious difference.
Absolutely.
True.
Absolutely.
Monica Nash says, greater success can be achieved only when you pursue something greater than yourself that makes a difference in the lives of others. Absolutely. Tweets coming in thick and fast. Bora Collins, you say, Bob was indeed an inspiration to many. The tributes that have been paid to him talks of a man who touched the lives of many. The Boys Club should continue with his legacy. There we go. I just asked that question. Well done. Joram Kibigo, you say, Bob had a heart for humanity. He lived for the people and made it so easy to demonstrate what it is to live purposely. Bob Collymore paid forward and left a footprint in people's hearts, minds included. I want to make it count for those around me, if only to honor him. Wow. Joram, thank you for that. Here's the last tweet here. Euphrasia Luseka, you say, watching JK Live makes me ask the question, who are your friends? If you also didn't know how to define friendship, these gems are valuable lessons. For me, notably, it's an eagle doesn't hang with ducks. And iron sharpens iron. Wow.
That's powerful.
Euphrasia. Gentlemen, this is what he said. This was on the 24-page pullout in the Daily Nation the next day, right? If I can quote it. He said, the pearly gates, I guess that's St. Peter over there. Those are the gates. And is that an M-Pesa machine or is that an ATM or what is that? Whatever it is. Okay, so he says, death is inevitable, and I have made the decision not to cling on to the thought of it because it will eventually come. I just do not know when. I have chosen to focus on the things that are more important to me. Now I know it's kind of impossible for somebody to live for 200 years. But something very important is that when you have cancer, the idea of death is near, and so it doesn't surprise, unlike you who is healthy, but death could be coming in the next minute or tomorrow morning. If you pull that up, that's Bob Collymore, direct quote. Wow.
And you know, he said on Saturday, he said, I need to take some online lessons to learn Mandarin because I'm not sure what language they speak up there. And then we joked and we said, we'll send you some M-Pesa.
The sense of humor was just
and he could learn a lot. He could learn. I mean, we didn't speak about he plays a saxophone. Oh. He was flying
a helicopter.
He could do a lot of stuff.
Like I said, he lived a full life.
Oh, and he had no regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
And I think one of the most important things, he only lived in Kenya for 10 years.
Only.
And look at the impact
that he has.
Only.
What lessons can we derive from such a richly written 10 years of his stay in our nice country, great country? How many opportunities do we have to lose?
And by the way, beyond retirement, you know, when he would have exited the company, he was going to settle here, right?
Yes.
He was a Kenyan citizen.
He was, absolutely. I mean, I think he made a tremendous change now. I mean, you can ask about, I mean, a Kenyan is beyond just having something in your pocket.
Yes.
Call it a passport or an ID. This man done Kenya trip over in the changes that he made in just 10 years. He's been with us in our generation and the generations to come.
Yeah. I think for all leaders, he's an example that a purpose-driven life, it's not about money or status or titles. It's really the impact and the changes that you make that matter.
Absolutely.
Gentlemen, I can't even add any more to that. You guys have been great. And Peter, you said we have a new captain as of the 19th, or we'll decide?
Yes. No, we have.
He will become our captain.
He is
this guy,
incoming captain.
Oh my God. How's he going to be?
We have to, well, if he can't fit the shoes, he has to buy new shoes.
You think where Bob is right now, he's smiling? Is he smiling, guys? Final question.
He's having fun.
I mean,
he's having fun. Having fun watching us, of course, wishing us well.
Is he playing his sax? Is he...
Probably.
Josh?
Absolutely. I mean, this is what Bob would have wanted us to do. And we continue running on the footprints for he created and with us eternally, even beyond just his passing off.
Yeah. BT?
He's probably had his first lesson in Mandarin today.
Was it tough?
I think for him, probably easy.
Yeah. PK?
I've never seen a man so prepared, looking so fit, so prepared to go to the next level of his personal journey. I admired the courage, and we have to give it to him. He was very, very focused that he had to make this journey, and he was well prepared for it. I am sure he had his own personal satisfaction that he had prepared himself so well, and that God gave him those few months to prepare that journey. And if you look at the quote, he was saying, yes, you have the time to plan once you know you have that ailment. Not like you who is healthy, if you looked at the end, who could die any minute.
Today or tomorrow.
Yes. It was very philosophical.
Inevitable. You know,
you said that on Saturday, by the way. You said Bob has given us himself 3 weeks, but any one of us could die in the meantime. Remember you said that?
Yes, he said that as well. He said, guys, you with your beast could jump over the bridge.
See, he had to bring that up.
Before.
He had to bring that up.
You know, before
Francis Kashuri, you all know him, senior reporter, anchor on Kiririmbi, and he's an editor here as well, senior editor. He says, gentlemen, brilliant stuff. Can I be the guy who fetches water for the boys' team? He says, I don't even want to be a member. I just want to be the guy who fetches water.
Tell him there is a vacancy for an intern. We have graduated.
Kashuri, you've heard. But you have to go through the phases, right?
Well,
it's not going to be easy.
Well, as you heard from the start when Dr. Mukisa Kitui was saying he's a member and he was only an inductee.
Correct.
So there are stages.
Yes.
Luckily then, Bob decided. Well, now.
No,
Collectively.
Fred Obach Machoka. The conversation is deep, having stayed close to Bob, especially the last days. What advice will you give people living with cancer survivors? Real quick.
I think prepare for
the worst.
eventuality. But I think depending on what I mean, I think Bob didn't want to give up. Remember that, yeah?
Yes.
I think he fought till the end, so it's not like giving up. But I think he kind of accepted the eventuality, if at all it comes, you know, or how soon it comes.
Peter?
I think for me, cancer is not a death sentence, and it shouldn't be. Perhaps we need to up our facilities so that we have early checks, because I think, if you remember what Captain told us, he missed his annual check 4 months before October. You remember?
Yeah.
And he felt that probably had he not missed the annual check, he could have gotten into this much earlier. But even then, remember, it's the stem cell that didn't work, but he fought for it, he tried to fight for it, and that's what it is. But I think if we have better facilities for early check-ins, then we can handle the issue of cancer in our country in a much better way.
Early detection.
And
Joshua.
it's something, I mean, the challenge about the, you know, when you talk about this, the trend or the continuum of acute myeloid leukemia, is that there are different strains. And sometimes the cancer is completely different depending on the patient.
Yes.
So they are not the same. There are many areas, and Bob talked about different levels. You get treatment, you get cure. So someone has to understand the real situation where they are and make sure that they get intervention earlier. That for me is what I learned from Bob, being very positive about where you are and running for it. So I don't think you can group it in a way. Everybody seems to have a different relationship based on how they respond to treatment, what
and
kind
also,
of environment they
are. He had a very rare type of AML. It was a TP53. TP53.
Correct.
It was a very rare AML. Very rare. Very unfortunate.
I would also say, I mean, it's not a death sentence. Cancer is not a death sentence. And the ability to be diagnosed early so that, you know, you can then take, you know, the chemotherapy and all the other interventions, I think is very important. Unfortunately, in some cases, people either they don't get diagnosed until it's very late, and then, you know, in that case, there's not much you can do. But I think in the case of Bob, I mean, he had the absolute best treatment that anybody could ask for. It's just that, you know, God's time.
I think diet is also key.
Diet,
Diet is
lifestyle.
And
lifestyle, diet.
It was very, Bob, you know him for a long time. It was very strong on, it's very on exercise.
Every morning, 5:30 in the morning, he's on the treadmill.
Every day.
Yeah. I'm going to continue to drink. I don't care, you know.
Are you going to smoke?
Jamila Mohammed, head editor, is our Citizen Swahili version. Huh? She says, today's show reminds me of a song by Randy Travis, 3 Wooden Crosses. Do you know that song? There are 3 wooden crosses on the right side of the highway.
How did she?
Why they're not for?
How did she know the song and she's on Swahili? She should have given us the Swahili version, as Bob would have said.
Yeah, right? That would be Bob.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, we'll see you tomorrow. All of you.
Thank you.
At the memorial service, live on Citizen Television, beginning 10 a.m. at All Saints Cathedral, presided by Provost Sammy Wainaina. I hope he's watching.
Nice guy.
Nice guy, good guy. We'll be live, and it's going to be a good send-off for a man who his close friends, all of us, to a person, say he was an incredible man. Incredible man. There wasn't a dry eye at Kariokor yesterday during the cremation, and it shows the level of the man. Gentlemen, it's great to see you there.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for taking time out to talk to us.
Thank you.
And,
I think more important,
doing
this show in memory of Bob.
Yeah.
For me, that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When I saw those pictures about him there, some looking like he's still with us. When I look at that one where he's doing like this, and you see this, the real man.
It's surreal.
Thank you for dedicating the show to Bob.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Bob Collymore, great man. What a man. By the way, Jeff Kenenga Live is powered by Standard Chartered Priority Banking. That's where it's at. Thank you so much for being a part of this show. This one was a tough one to do because the man was so close to all of us. But like Peter said, we dedicate this to the man wherever he is. We hope he's smiling and approving of all the things that have been said about him. And I hope we all, you out there, can learn from this great man who we were privileged to know for barely a decade. Thanks so much for being a part of the show. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on the hottest breakfast show in all of Africa, Hot 96, with the Prof and I. And then after that, 10 o'clock onwards, live on Citizen Television, the memorial for Robert. What was his middle name again?
William.
He was Bobby William.
Yeah.
Bobby Bill. Robert William Collymore. Please join us. It'll be a great event, a celebration. And come, like one boy said, do not wear black. Come, all colorful, to celebrate. Thanks so much for being a part of the show. Good night. Good luck. God bless my good friend, Robert Kihara Collymore. I will take credit for that name, Kihara. You know that?
Absolutely.
Well, you brought it to the boys' club, and we endorsed it.
And one boy put a signboard on the side of the road saying Kihara.
I've actually put it down when I speak tomorrow. You'll see it. It's already written. Yes. Because I didn't want that to pass.
Oh, good. Good night, everybody. Thanks for being a part of the show.